Robert Greenwald. He's the president of the Brave New Foundation in Culver City, California, producer, director, and somebody who has been leading BNF's war cost campaign, an anti-Afghanistan campaign to do this. And it's great to have Robert on our air and on the show. Robert, good morning. Thank you for getting up very early today out west, and thanks for being with us.
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Well, let me first of all start that, we had Congressman Barney Frank on earlier, and he is having a number of initiatives to pull together some town hall meetings in Massachusetts to get excessive military spending on the agenda and get people talking about this. You've been discussing this for years now, particularly on Afghanistan. Tell me the latest in terms of how you have seen maybe America get finally on board. All the polls have been showing it for over a couple of years now, but I think the work that you've done is beginning to really capture the imagination of all different kinds of voters and all different kinds of citizens. Your thoughts on where things are today compared to maybe when you started this campaign?
Well, thank you. Yes, we've seen a huge move. At Brave New Films, we've taken on a lot of issues, whether it was Outfox or Wal Mart or Iraq for sale or health care. But I'll tell you, I've never seen more people move more quickly than we've seen on our Rethink Afghanistan work, where people started out fully supporting that war as the right war. The more they heard about it, the more they realized that it was not making us safer and it was costing too much. It was indefensible. And so we saw a huge shift in public opinion around it in a relatively short period of time, given the fact that we're up against the Pentagon, we're up against the contractors, and we're up against the war profiteers. What we're doing now with our war costs campaign, and I hope that many of your listeners will join us, because that's the only way we're successful by that good old-fashioned thing called democracy, is we're calling attention right now to the Deficit Committee and the fact that they must make a choice. They're either going to cut the contractors and the profiteers, or they're going to cut Social Security and Medicare. It's very simple. It's not either or. One of them is going to have to go. And so we're pointing out the fact, frankly, that Democrats on the committee are getting more money from the contractors than Republicans. And we're pointing out that the contractors and the profiteers are spending millions of dollars and having hundreds of lobbyists. Our job is to stand up and fight for democracy.
There's no doubt. We're talking with Robert Greenwald of Brave New Films here on the Jeff Santos Show. We broadcast live from the Flatiron District of New York City, Birch Coffee House here on the 27th Street between 5th and Madison. When I talk to people, whether I'm here or in Boston or anywhere around the country, Robert, it's all the same. We can't afford to lose another soldier. We can't afford to spend another dollar. And I hear this not only from progressive Democrats, which you and I belong to that club, but I hear it from Republicans. I hear it from people who are non-aligned, who are just saying, look, we got all these problems. The bridges are falling down, and we're spending these dollars here. Do you sense that there are people who can really, I saw Rick Santorum yesterday on on the debate, talking about, that we still have to be there, and if we're not there, then, they're going to come here and all this other nonsense. And I think Ron Paul, who, I don't necessarily agree with him on a lot of domestic things, but obviously when it comes to the issue of Afghanistan is right on, and he just sort of took it right back to him. I think that, this is where, Democrats and others have to continue to lean the way. To me, that is a real key to keep it going, and not only to get, like I say, progressive Democrats, but to get to Ron Pauls and others out there, talking about it as well.
No, I think that's absolutely true, and there's a real opportunity, as you say, Jeff, because with all the concern around the fiscal issues, if you start to point out, as we did in Afghanistan, one troop, 1 year, $1 million. If you start to point out on war contracting that these contractors are making obscene amounts of money. The head of Lockheed Martin made $21 million last year. Almost all of that comes from our tax dollars and contracts that they get. So the notion that this is about patriotism is a false one. This is about profit. This is about profiteering. And in fact, as recently as Eisenhower, you were not supposed to make a profit from the war. And now we're seeing these obscene profiteers go out and try to convince you that they're fighting for the good of the country. But I think we can reach out across the aisle, across political perspectives, and say, do you really where do you want your money to go? There's only so much money. Where do you want it to go? And that's why at War Costs, we think there's a real opportunity now to escalate and get people to say, hey, wait a minute, war is not free. Wait a minute, all these planes and missiles that we don't use, that's coming out of my pocket. And it's not a job creator. It's the least efficient possible way to create jobs. And for every $1 billion spent on war contractors, we're leaving thousands of jobs that don't get funded.
Well, we're talking with Robert Greenwald here on the Jeff Santos Show, and I'm going to play a cut from the president yesterday, and I think that there is a way to add to this cut going forward that we can talk about, Robert. This is cut number 10, Steve.
We used to have the best infrastructure in the world here in America. We're the country that built the Intercontinental Railroad, the interstate highway system. We built the Hoover Dam. We built the Grand Central Station. So how can we now sit back and let China build the best railroads and let Europe build the best highways and have Singapore build a nicer airport at a time when we got millions of unemployed construction workers out there just ready to get on the job, ready to do the work to rebuilding America?
President Obama yesterday in front of that bridge between Cincinnati, Ohio, and the great state of Kentucky. And Robert, I could easily see him adding one other thing to that, which I think you would understand and agree with. And we can even do more if we take the troops out of Afghanistan and take that money that we're spending there now and put it right back into this country. I think it's a great next speech line that he can do. Going, and I think it would be an applause line no matter where he is in the country. He doesn't, even in the Deep South, they want their heroes home.
There's no question about it. You cannot find anybody who can really say why we are in Afghanistan, or who really gets up in the morning and says, boy, we're so much safer because we're invading, occupying Afghanistan, and spending billions and billions of dollars. It makes no fundamental sense. I was over in Afghanistan as part of the work for Rethink Afghanistan, and it's a desperately poor country, the third poorest country in the world. And boy, do they need help. But the help is not going to come in terms of occupying them. The help is going to come in the things that anybody needs, which is jobs and work and education and health care.
Well, I'm so right, and again, I want to let people know of how to reach you, Robert, and how to join the campaign. That we want to get people from Boston and across New England and across the country listening to us on RevolutionBoston.com. To be able to get involved with you. This is important. We work very closely with our friends at Veterans for Peace and Pat Scanlon here in Boston and many other groups that are engaged in this process. It's critical. How do people do that? How do they join you?
Well, they can join us at warcourse.com, which is the website. They can join us at War Course on Facebook. They can follow me, Robert Greenwald, on Twitter. They can join us at Rethink Afghanistan, Facebook and website. And again, I will say the only way with all of the campaigns we've done over the years, whether it was Fox News or Iraq for Sale or Wal Mart, it's only happened because people like you and your listeners participate and really, really believe in that good old-fashioned democracy and get out there and do something about it.
Well, it's so important, and it is critical if we're going to have the dollars to be able to rebuild this country and have the dollars to have a first-rate infrastructure system, to have the high-speed rail that can go from Los Angeles to San Francisco in 2 or 3 hours. It's not going to happen unless the money comes back from Afghanistan. No. and we can rebuild this country right and for all, and never mind the benefits, the human benefits of those kids that are right now fighting there as well. We need a lot of work to be done. Robert, it's great talking to you. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, and thanks for all the great work you do.
Thank you, and we'll look forward to getting you on very soon.